don't know where the hell we were.
Hello, and welcome back to Raconteurs News. Sorry about that, folks. We had a computer crash right in the middle of the show. Welcome back to and got my news voice coming back at me there as well. Sorry about that. Yeah, we were just talking about... I had it all in my mind as I was restarting all this, but it's gone now. Chuck, do you know where you were?
Yeah, absolutely. Where I was discussing things, and now I'm hearing my voice kick back. I was discussing the concept of fear.
That's right.
And that it seems to me as though anything that I have ever seen of significance that has been accomplished by an individual has always been accomplished when they let go, when they shed that which I would call fear. To have a primal instinct, which is for self-preservation, to avoid things like fire, the end of a cliff, a wild animal. This is different to me than what I call fear. What I call fear is that emotion which does not lead us to anything productive. You know, very much a comedian named Bill Hicks had said that there were only two emotions in the universe, and I think he was correct when he said that all things stem from either love or fear. And if these are my two choices, then I choose to embrace love and to let fear go astray. It is not part of what I need to do in order to move forward. It's not part of what I need to encourage. It's not part of what needs be said when it comes to anything that I'm doing. So, look, it may not work for everyone, but in my estimation, for me personally, I say stop being afraid altogether. If you act as someone who wishes to propagate love, if you act in love, if you always think, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to love everyone, but if you do love everyone, not necessarily taking the action to love everyone, but if you act out of love at all times, I think that that you won't fail. I think that you will always find the correct path, even when it is confusing. If you don't let your fears govern your actions, your words, etc. So that's what I meant by it, and I hope I kind of made some sense out of it for you guys. Again, that's for me.
Yeah, I'm with you with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you with that one. Uniquely's got a question for you. Is fear natural?
Well, sure, all emotions are natural. But to me, again, my opinions, all emotions are natural, but it doesn't mean that you need to embrace all of them.
Okay.
You know, because to me, a fear leads to anger, leads to hate, leads to a lot of negative things. Okay, leads to a lot of weakness, where you seek to empower yourself, and some people will do that through various mechanisms. To me, fear is the basis for everything which leads to the destructive. That's the way I view it. Not saying that psychologists will see it the same way, but I do know that there are a great many people who will encourage the idea of fearless thought and the idea of fearless action, because this is a way to remove the limitations from oneself. That's for sure. And even mainstream psychologists and analysts and so on and so forth will tell you that. I think it is the key to a great many things. If you're no longer afraid, if they cannot make you hate, make you angry, if they cannot make you fear, then what is it that you can be forced to do? So yeah. I make it a constant effort to remove fear from myself at all times.
Yeah, I think, well, that's the best way if you can do it. It takes a lot of discipline, I think. I've been working on that over the years. I'm pretty good at it nowadays, but I still do get a touch of the old EBGBs here and there with things. Lee's added to this, I think you just answered it anyway, is fear not also inherently part of the whole man? I think you kind of just answered that anyway. What was I going to say? David Icke, you done an interview recently with Max Egan. I don't know whether you've seen it. If not, I recommend that you watch it, because David Icke summed up fear in a way that I've not heard before, but really, really did. It did resonate well with me. He's describing it as a computer virus, and he does a really good job in that interview of putting it all into perspective.
Well, actually, I'm supposed to talk to David Icke soon. He had the last message I got from him is that when he was done with his world tour, he'd be ready to come on my show. But we shall see. I hope to actually go over this subject with him myself. And I can't see how I would disagree with that idea that it's very much like a computer virus. If you allow this to take hold in your system personally, if you allow fear to be the one which dictates to you, the emotion which dictates to you, see, that's why I thought it was so profound that again, a comedian, Bill Hicks, said that, because if your choices become just simply those two, and you handle things in a loving way, it doesn't necessarily mean that you give love to those that are bashing your head in as well. You must love yourself as well, right? But at the same time, if you act in that way and you choose not to embrace the virus, in other words, if you don't bother to open the file, you won't get the virus, which will wind up screwing everything else up. So I think David Icke is certainly onto something if he likened it to a computer virus, Tony.
Just a little correction there, Tony. I think that was Zen Gardner who did the interview with David Icke, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. We actually had a conversation about this the other night, and one way I see people being drawn into a state of fear or forced into a state of fear is getting terribly upset about things they can do absolutely nothing about. And it's very counterproductive, getting yourself in a state of fear and panic over things you've got absolutely no control over. As far as I see it, you just got to say, okay, that's nothing to do with me. I need to get on with what I'm here to do and just carry on as you are, best you can. Some of these things are quite frightening, but when you realise you can't control it, you've nothing to do with it, the only thing to do is to say, well, okay, that's not about me. I need to get on with what I'm doing.
Well, right. Now, isn't that a really great way to decouple yourself from it?
Mm-hmm.
If you absolutely have no involvement in something, and take your own personal inventory and recognize that at some points you may be giving consent, or you may be giving your own cooperation to things that you don't agree with, right? If you are in a state where you are not participating in any way, shape, or form in something that does concern and upset you, and it is completely apart from you, well, then yes, you should absolutely just let it go. That's true. That's absolutely true. However, if you find that by some means you are participating in it, you are encouraging it, you are granting your consent, etc., well, then perhaps it's time to stop doing that. And then once you do that, you can then let it go. I see that as really, really intelligent and a really efficient way of dealing with those things that sometimes do keep people up at night, especially when you take a look at certain situations that there is absolutely nothing that you can do anything about at this point, whether it be historical, the conditions in the world around you, so on and so forth. However, if you find yourself in a position where you might be able to do something about it, even in the smallest way, then that should be your concern. A whole lot more than allowing yourself to become paralyzed with the overburdening feeling of fear. See? Kind of makes sense, doesn't it, guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the chat's been going a bit wild there on the fear, and there's a lot there that I agree with. Again, Lee's saying, try getting chased by a cannibal and not being afraid. Well, yeah, obviously you're going to be frightened in them circumstances, and we've got more people talking about how to control this, and it's about that. Well, everything's about balance, isn't it? If you lost your fear altogether, then that would probably be quite dangerous, I suppose. So it's, again, picking the meat from the bones with information that you get out there. It's part of the same sort of thing that you've got to learn when your fear's justified and when it's not. How about that? Is that maybe a better way of stating it? I don't know. Maybe it would be dangerous to lose it altogether.
Well, see, again, he's talking about being chased by a cannibal. Well, that would be a position of self-preservation. And in which case, to me, that is not fear. That is just simply self-preservation. So you can find that your ability to sense things can be heightened in a situation like that. You can find that you have a particular push of adrenaline, which allows you to be able to maybe run a little faster, move a little quicker. And this is all a positive thing when it is utilized for self-preservation. But when you allow this to prevail, in your daily life, when you're not being confronted with a situation where self-preservation is at issue at that moment, then what are you doing? This is the point. If you're in a dangerous situation, obviously fear is going to come into play. It is part of the natural being. But if you allow this to prevail upon all aspects of your life, it's counterproductive, period. I mean, again, this is me telling you about me, okay? You might examine this and say, this guy is nuts. It's fine. I've heard it before. So just fine by me, guys. And look, examine it for yourselves. And even if I've just gotten you to consider that you're letting fear dictate too many of your actions, too many of your habits, and too much of your day, and if you can remove some of it from you so that you're not burdened by it any longer, then I am extremely happy. How about that?
Sounds good. You seem to have general consensus in the chat box now that we're all on the right track with it. So I reckon we can call that a success.
Absolutely, Chuck. And I see we've already run over the 2 hours here. So, Chuck, would you like to give out any links where people can find your work? And obviously we'll put them all on the podcast page when we get that uploaded, but just so we can let everyone know as they're listening.
Sure, absolutely. First of all, my personal website is ochelli.com. It's spelled OCHELLI, and just that, .com is my own personal website where I do have a membership area. I've also got free areas on there. There's free videos, a bunch of different things there. And more material will be coming there soon, including a documentary, which I'm told not to give the details on just yet, but I'm working on a particular area, so we'll get to that soon. So ochelli.com is my website, and of course, at this point in time, if you wanted to contribute to my well-being as I'm going through a transitional period where I don't actually have my own home and all that, well, guess what? You can do it there. To catch the show 5 nights a week, except this week because American Freedom Radio is currently down. If you go to American Freedom Radio, though, and you look at the show archives, you find The Ochelli Effect, and you'll find 2016 and 2015 archives there, various shows, and once the network is up and running, which I predict will be by the end of the week again, you'll be hearing the live shows in their regular rotation, so on and so forth. And who knows where else you might catch me. I mean, if you look at ochelli.com, actually, there are links to just about everything I'm doing. The YouTube channel is available there. My blog is going to disappear shortly and become something else, and so on and so forth. So that's where you can find everything, those 2 places. How about that?
Oh, thanks, Chuck. That's a real a time of change for yourself. Just before we go, I'd like to say that we've got Ollie Damagard joining us on Friday, and that'll be from 8 p.m. And then next Monday we've got Ed Haslam talking about his book Dr. Mary's Monkey on Tuesday. Then we are dropping the Friday and moving to a Thursday slot, 7 till 9, and we'll have Paul, our high-level financial advisor, and then on the 28th, we've got Mark Devlin, who talks about mind control in the music industry. So we've got some good guests lined up. I'd just like to say thank you very much to Tony tonight, and, of course, thank you to Chuck for joining us all the way over in America.
Well, thanks again for having me. You know what? Sounds like you got some really fascinating guests coming up. Mr. Devlin is definitely interesting. Mr. Haslam, excuse me, I advise people to get the first version of that book, which was called Mary Fairy and the Monkey Virus. If you take a look at it, you'll find out why I said it. Excuse me. And hey, you know what? It's going to be quite an interesting span of shows for you guys. So I advise everybody to check out all of them. In fact, I know I'll be listening to at least 2 of the upcoming shows that you talked about personally, one way or another. So definitely people stay tuned to that.
That's great, Chuck. And thanks for joining us. And thanks to everyone for listening. And thanks to all the great input from the chat room tonight. And being as you enjoyed the first one, I'll play you out with another track from The Force. Thanks, everyone, and good night.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Chuck.
To race, so get your religion right out of my face. You're blaming on me that you lost your pride, but I'm telling you now, you got to fight to survive. We are the same but different, the same but in different worlds. We are the same but different, the same but in different worlds. You cannot do as I do, but I cannot do as you can. History has shown us all you can kill the king, but the soldiers won't fall.
And sorry, folks,
This is the time, don't matter the place.
We've
Just
got
stop the
Dr.
fight
Rock
and then
joining
cut
us
to the
from
chase.
9 p.m. on Thursday night, so don't miss that one.
We are the same but different, the same but in different worlds. We are the same but different, the same but in different worlds. and see. But who's gonna save us from this anarchy?